And you can clearly see that, you know, they're talking about, you know, sending stuff off to Ollie and all that, and stuff happened after. Like I say, Ollie never answered my question about this. I'm still waiting for a response back on what they did when they got this from you.
Oh, after we sent it out, you talking about the boxing match I was invited to?
Right. And why it all fell apart.
I was, how it all fell apart?
Yeah.
His greed. He was trying to negotiate for me without my behalf and against my word. It was supposed to be me, my brother, and Nate Miles discussing any business of it, and mostly me, because I was like the brains behind the outfit, so to speak. And with his 2 cents in, he wanted $1 million off the top for his retirement, or either one of 3 licenses if we got 3 licenses, because that's what our demand was on the letter. If you read the letter, we wanted our 3 locations, like every, you know, of our other friends that are operating got 3 locations. We wanted the same thing because that's what basically you took from us, you know. So this guy got greedy and tried to negotiate himself in $1 million off the top before anybody got paid, whether it was Ollie, whether it was Nate Miles, Chris Bennett, me, my brother, my children, or my wife. He wanted $1 million off the top, or a license, one of the 3 licenses, you know, because he said he put $1 million worth of weight and $1 million team together to get this done. When really, I know for a fact that they came to him about it.
Where my people at? But while people are filtering in, let's go over this again. I've known you now about what, like maybe 5 months?
Shoot, not even 5 months. I don't think.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is,
not quite.
Right, here comes Kevin. This is a perfect segue. Now,
this is maybe about 4 months. I
Okay.
think maybe about 4 months.
Great. Put a pin in that. Here comes Kevin. Hold on.
Hey,
Mr. Shelton.
What's going on?
Hey, brother, we're just getting into the show. If I'm wrong, then Miller-Nash is wrong. And they don't want to say that about their, you know, treasured law firm that they settle with and do business with. And the other part of today's talk is, why can't blacks get lawyers? Why can't you guys get lawyers? Which we hash on all the time, but we're going to go there again today, given the new information that you found from people who tried to help you before. All right. So, and I was just going over this with Libby. I said I've known her, about 5 months? It might be just shy of that. I've known you probably about 7 months, Kevin, 7, 8, maybe, if that.
Yeah, about 7, if that.
Right. So, in other words, you've been getting screwed a long time before you met me, right?
Oh, with no Vaseline.
There you go. Yeah, not even a dab of Crisco, right? Yeah.
And got the paper trail to prove it. I have the paper trail to prove it too. It's not just talk, good brother.
That's right, brother. That's right, brother. But you keep to the truth. Truth sets you free, brother. That's right, brother. That's what we're gonna do. But first, I want to go through one thing that binds both of these cases together. The case that you have with Sammy Sada and your brother Ben, and the one that Libby's petitioning to get into, and the case that John Novak and I have against LCB, which was started back in 19. Okay. But some aspect of that just came out that I didn't know that Miller-Nash talks about. And we're going to take a look at that right now. And then we'll go on with you guys rapping. All right. Sound like a plan?
Sound like a plan.
Okay. Here we go. Screen share coming up. Sinjo is here too. That's wonderful. All right. Let's let her come on in. And then we'll go to the screen share. That's not it. That's it. There we go. Cool. I can keep going while she's getting there. Okay. I think my people at home can see this too, or close to it. Let's let Sinjo hop in though. And I'm going to find my water. Hey guys. Oh, she's still connecting. She is out in the sticks. She had a family emergency. She's out in the sticks. So we'll just keep on rapping. She can join us. She knows, you know. There she is, Miss Sinjo. Might be having trouble connecting. Okay, so I keep drinking this smart water. I hope one day it's gonna make me smart enough so I might be able to challenge Massel in a couple rounds of chess or something like that. They're like them house Negroes.
Hey, you need some civil rights water.
Civil rights water, right? The old guy, let me do that. In nomine Patriae, APA, and Sanctum. That's Bauhaus. They're coming tomorrow. I'm going to see them. That's a song called Stigmata Martyr, by the way, which I did not sing very well, but they're going to do that song. They have to do Stigmata Martyr tomorrow. And this other brother who does deep soul singing, I can't think of his name right now. He's the lead artist. He's from Oregon. He's amazing. The guy has like a didgeridoo in his throat. He's just he does tour of his singing, but he's opening. So, all right, guys. So this is the conundrum, and then we'll get on to the show. This is what I got. It's Cornell, The Turbulent History of Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement in Washington. Okay. And this was written by these people, Christine Mossy, Oates, a number of people here. I looked them up to see who they were because I didn't realize that's Miller-Nash. All of these people, this is a Miller-Nash report, with Cornell. Okay. And there's the abstract, and the abstract just talks about LCB's frequently hostile enforcement culture, including arguing the course of cannabis licensees have no constitutional rights, has repeatedly converted de minimis regulatory violations into business-ending events. Hello. That's what Novak and I are saying, but we said it in court before this came out. And here's the thing. Miller-Nash never mentions race in this whole report, which is amazing, okay? But even without mentioning race, what they're trying to do, Novak's in our case, we have two aspects to our case. One is that they exceeded their authority, which is what I had with Sinjo and Novak, and Sinjo and Levi Hall's case. Levi Hall, Sinjo being a bud tender, and Levi being the entertainment director at Hempfest. Basically, Novak and other people. Aaron Barfield worked with us on it. So did Black Excellence Academy. We conferenced on this shit. All right, and that's how we got their bogus cases dismissed. But I'm just gonna go through real quick and find the part here where it based the gotcha culture. LCB's gotcha culture results in overly harsh enforcement. It's right there, and it's so patently clear that I don't even know what to say. Yeah, there it is. The effect of LCB's allegedly toxic culture, harsh enforcement, and disregard for constitutional protections. And then there's a report that was issued, okay? Right in here, where I asked for this report, and basically the report is only 3 pages. I went back today and asked for the investigative file. Okay, so that's where they got me on that. But it just basically says a 2019 report on officers for insubordination, professionalism, truthfulness, ethics, and abuse of authority. In short, the agency, and in particular enforcement, has a substantiated reputation of engaging in abusive conduct toward licensees. Okay, boom. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, so is what it is. So they're stuck because how can the federal court slam me and at the same time not slam them? And that's an issue. So you guys, Kevin, you've alleged they threatened you with stuff that they were not authorized to threaten you about. And it scared you into not filing for the lottery.
Exactly. It's like we saw, like I said, they took down like 20 dispensaries that were a couple miles away on Rainier Avenue, and then they did the whole Brion Cobre thing. I mean, and we just got off of all the paper under, under our legal advice. We got off of all paper, and we took our money out of the banks and everything, man. So we didn't want any parts of the feds. And I know that once you sign that paperwork for that lottery, there was like a not want to say a disclaimer, but it was like a I guess it was like a disclaimer. I can't find it now. It said something to the fact that if you signed up and you lost, you can't come back and do anything about it. You know, something to that nature.
Right. And so we're going to discuss your options now, because actually I'm pulling up a conversation I had with Paula Sardinez, who did defame me a couple of weeks ago with Sammy Saad, telling him that he was being brainwashed and that he's following a dangerous person and that I'm a disbarred attorney and nobody takes me seriously. All those things she said to him. But I'm going to go through a comment that she said, and this is wild. Just wait till you see this, okay?
Hey, the brainwashing part, right, though, because we're brainwashing each other with truth and honesty, and nobody likes it. And we've even had a couple of appendages fall off.
Yeah. So this is so your options then, and this is the other part that came out too. We had that we've talked about the Nate Miles threat, where his law firm sent you that cease and desist letter with me. We told him to go pound sand. We showed that last week. I mean, I might as well drag it out now just for the hell of it, just to, yeah, hold on. And so we're going to go through what your options were. And you're between a rock and a hard place, basically, okay? Cease and desist. Ugh, where is that damn thing? Okay, hold on. Cease and desist, brother. Come on. There it is. Okay. So here's what we got sent. All right. I'm going to go back into, I still am in screen share. Okay, so there it is. From Martin Davis, April 29th. David Otto, okay, head managing partner, all that, right? And yeah. We told him to go pound sand, right? We haven't heard anything back since, because we have signed affidavits in that basically he was aping you and your brother for 49% of your company if he was going to get your license back. It was all going through Ollie Garrett and Nate Miles, Ollie Garrett, Chris Bennett, and all that, and your uncle Thomas. What's his last name again?
Ex-father-in-law, soon to be ex-father-in-law, Thomas Williams.
Yeah, ex-father-in-law. I'm sorry. Right. So anyway, so that didn't work. And we're gonna get so after that, so that was your one choice. You tried that, but he got greedy, and that's why that never came forward. And he wanted more. But then, wait, I'm not ready for this yet. Okay, here. This is the mail. Okay, so Ollie, when she reached out to Sammy, this was after I'll call him Mr. Pink today. Okay. Mr. Pink had come and told you that Paula Sardine is going to be helping these licenses get released. She's like the official warden. Okay. She's the head overseer over there. Her and Ollie Garrett are the head overseers at the plantation. And so without them, you're not going to get a license. Okay. And so, because we know that she helped Aaron Barfield and Peter Manning and them get a license. They had a legit case. I know they did because I worked with them on it. All right. And I congratulated them when I think they told you they sold it for 2.1 million, each license for a million and change. But yep. You guys have had valid claims too. But that text message we're going to show you, this is the text message where she said to Sammy, basically, if you're with Chris King, that's the one about nobody taking me seriously. I'm disbarred. Now, if you want to follow him, that's going to be on you. But don't get upset if I'm not condoning. But like I said, she's the one who went and negotiated to get the license for these guys. All right. So if she's the only conduit, this means that the mandate put forward under 5052 to conduct a fair and impartial lottery system completely failed. As the NAACP legal chair, not legal, but the NAACP economics chair, Daryl Powell, said 3 months ago. It was a farce.
Yes.
So the key then legally,
we call it a total scam.
Total scam, right. So the key then legally, you could ask any lawyer this is an ongoing non-delegable task. that was set to them under I-5052, and they have resolutely failed. Therefore, the statute of limitations it hasn't run because they still haven't done it.
Yes.
See? It's a continuing violation every day that they fail to have initiated that. And ipso facto, they haven't done it because we wouldn't have the equity task force and all this shit out here, right?
Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead.
That you know, I want to touch on Paula Sardinas for a second.
Well, hold on. Let me show you what she wrote back to me then, and then you got the floor, okay? Then I'll come back to the screen view, and then I got more later. Okay, so get this. So first, let's talk about this. Nobody cares about what I say. First off, you go ask the city of Marysville. I caught them out on some zoning, and which there's a lot of zoning analysis in your case too. All right, and I was like, and in my case too, because arbitrary and capricious conduct is a predicate for a constitutional claim. All right. And so she says, nobody cares what you think. And I'm like, you might want to talk to the city of Marysville, because even though this only has 4 views, the bottom line is I sent them this letter for my client out there, and they had to refund about 11 grand worth of his money. It was a mother-in-law issue. He built a mother-in-law on his unit, but there was no new water, no new electricity, no new nothing, no new services. He basically put up an internal wall that was not structurable. And they hit him for like all these fees. It was like 11 grand. And I'm like, no, you're either going to charge everybody the 11 grand, or you're going to give him his money back, or I'm going to find a lawyer and sue. And then they refunded his money. So I don't know, Paula, shut up. Okay, next. Here is this is the part here where Paula said, I'm not obligated to call. Here I wrote, I said, Paula, Kevin called on to you and left a message a couple months ago. Why call Sammy today instead of Kevin, who telephoned you after after Mr. Pink told him to reach out, but not to mention my name, or you won't get a license, okay? I'm prepared to make a lot of this go away, but my people need to see something worth doing that. I'm trying to provide an settlement, global settlement. Just let's stop, right? Instead of writing me back in a nice way, she says, on April 29, 2022 at 6:43 p.m., Mr. King, I've met Mr. Sott. I don't know Mr. Shelton. I'm not obliged to call every person who calls me. Have a great day, Paula. Fuck you, Paula. I'm gonna keep it real. Fuck you for that response. Now let's go back to you. You've got the floor, my brother.
Well, I wanted to say on Paula Sardinas. Let me retract that. See, you didn't drove me past. Yeah. Okay. So there was one text message inside of that chain that you were just reading. And Paula Sardinas did say that Sammy and us guys are trying to get something off of what she created. I just wanted to clear that shit up real quick. She said that? Yeah. Look through those text messages.
Wow. Okay.
She said we were trying to get something off of something she created, and we're all just trying to get something back that was stolen from us. It had nothing to do with Paula Sardinas. She wasn't even in the picture when this stuff was going down with us, and we were operating stores and winning lotteries and everything else. Paula Sardinas wasn't around, so we're not trying to get something from Paula Sardinas. We're trying to get back what was stolen from us during an unlawful and an illegal overthrow and overreach by the Cannabis Board, arbitrary and capricious actions. That's what we're doing. It ain't have nothing to do with Paula Sardinas, and we don't have no problem. Now, as far as the Cannabis Board and their statute of limitations, there's kind of a little conflict there, because they have been in contact with our representation, our legal team, within 3 years, right? That was 2 years ago. So, that's kind of like,
yeah, and what was the denial? What was the denial about then? That too, right? Because let's go back now. I'm going to take the screen back for a second and show some of the viewers a little bit about what we had then. And there's more coming in too, because and another thing, Paula, if you're watching, which I'm sure you guys are watching these, Kevin's lawyer loves what I'm doing. Kevin, they talk all the time, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But for now, he has said that he will send off all these communications that were between him and the guy I'm going to show you, M. Scott Soderbeer, who was a lobbyist, and he had a couple licenses. He was a producer and I think distributor or whatever. Not retail. He had the other 2 licenses. Okay, and so Say it again.
Producer processor.
Producer processor. Right. So his communications were, is that? Shucks. Everything I do gonna be funky. Oh, here it is. Okay. Did I share screen yet? No, hold on. Sorry. All right, hang on. Boom.
Oof.
Okay. So this is the start of it, where we had asked. So anyway, all that stuff was in the filings that we had covered, where you're in the game, your soon-to-be ex-father-in-law had said you're in the game, the stage is set. Chris Bennett, if I recall correctly, Chris Bennett was set to sell some property, and he was going to have lunch with Ollie Garrett. Am I correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And you looked it up, and the fact is, around that time, you saw that he had sold a chunk of land, right?
Yep.
Great, because what's his name called us late at night, Peter Manning, and said, "Oh, I'm factual. We're factual too, dude. I haven't got where I got in my career and done the things I've done without being factual. So, freeze that shit." So here is where M. Scott Soderbeer. Oh, so wait. So anyway, you sent the letter off, and this was, he was he and Kevin Reed. He and Mike Reed were helping you out. So here's what happened first. You had sent this letter out to Ollie Garrett per instruction of Nate Miles. And I asked them at the meeting last week, hey, what happened to this return receipt? What's your protocol? What happened when Kevin sent this letter he was supposed to send you that was crafted, after Nate Miles reached out to your brother first, then called you. And we have all the affidavits are filed, guys. They're all in court. I'm not going to show them all right now. It takes too much time to keep the screen sharing and all that shit up. Affidavits are filed, motherfucker. Oh, wait. No, I've got them on this document. I put them all in one document because this is all online. Right. Here you go. Let's scroll down. I got this shit. All right. Oh, by the way, she says I was disbarred. If I were disbarred, if she had done a lick of research, she would know that I wasn't disbarred. I was a notary public in New Hampshire. I ran a title company. You can't be a notary public. You have to have good moral character. And a disbarment will stop you in a heartbeat from being a notary, man. That's bullshit. There it is. Christopher King, manager, Alpha Title Company, bitch. God, these people need to shut the fuck up. I'm telling you, man. They just, I'm the one that broke the whole thing about Sean Kipp's store not being, not really owned by him. They hate it. There's Paul Sardinas. I'm for equity because equity starts with everyone. Yeah, sure. Okay, so now let's get down to exhibits because I was got to. Oh, wait, here's your phone bill. Oh, no, yeah. What? That's the report. That's the report we talked about. All right. There's the threatening letter. I told them to go to hell. Stuff it. That's where I responded back to them, telling stuff it. There's an affidavit of truth right there. Ben Shelton received a phone call from Nate Miles on June 18th. You know what that entails, right? No, my brother does the business side. You need to holler at him and blah, 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 blah. And he's requested the phone records. I'm going to help you get those. There's the phone records. Okay, blah, 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 blah. There's yours. I should I'll put that in twice. I mean, whatever. But yeah, man, it's in this one. This one is Michelle's, right? Where she describes everything too, right? About how it was going down, and contemporaneous. This is all legal shit, guys. Contemporaneously, that was Nate Miles. We're getting our license back. We're have to give up some equity. I'm cool with that, whatever. And it sucks, but you were gonna have to suck it up. Like it's like being castrated. All right, that's the thing. And it's like when they told Kuta Kinte, Toby, when they told him it's gonna be your dick or your foot, he took the foot. Well, we're the same way. We'll take the foot, please. We're not going to lose our cojones behind this bullshit like that, right? And that's how it all started. And so they felt like a weight was finally lifted, and we're going to get back to the way our life was. We had a special needs child not covered by the state. All of this stuff that they're taking food off of people's plates. They're harming people. They're doing bad things, and all of this. So I keep threatening to give you the floor, man. I'm sorry, but there's just so much I'm trying to show. But anyway, yeah. So I was primarily showing the part where Scott Soderbergh was involved, and you could clearly see that, you know, they're talking about, you know, sending stuff off to Ollie and all that, and stuff happened after. Like I say, Ollie never answered my question about this. I'm still waiting for a response back on what they did when they got this from you, because that's about the time. Well, tell us what happened about that time.
About which time now?
After you sent the this return receipt document out. Tell us what happened then.
After I sent the return receipt to the cannabis board?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure
involving your soon-to-be ex-father-in-law.
Oh, after we sent it out, you talking about the boxing match I was invited to?
Right. And why it all fell apart.
I was. Oh, how it all fell apart?
Yeah.
His greed. He was trying to negotiate for me without my behalf and against my word. It was supposed to be me, my brother, and Nate Miles discussing any business of it, and mostly me, because I was like the brains behind the outfit, so to speak. And with his 2 cents in, he wanted $1 million off the top for his retirement, or either one of 3 licenses if we got 3 licenses, because that's what our demand was on the letter. If you read the letter, we wanted our 3 locations, like every, you know, of our other friends that are operating got 3 locations. We wanted the same thing, because that's what basically you took from us, you know. So this guy got greedy and tried to negotiate himself in $1 million off the top before anybody got paid, whether it was Ollie, whether it was Nate Miles, Chris Bennett, me, my brother, my children, or my wife. He wanted $1 million off the top, or a license, one of the 3 licenses, you know, because he said he put $1 million worth of weight and $1 million team together to get this done. When really, I know for a fact that they came to him about it. And we're not the first people. Hey, look, we weren't the first people that they scouted, and probably not the last.
And they scouted you because you were squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean. We had no type of infraction, or what do you want to call it? No type of, litigation, no type of interference with state law enforcement, local law enforcement, nothing. We were squeaky clean.
Right.
Squeaky clean. Just told to go. We were just told to go. So, you know, we could, we had been good lab rats for them. We had been good, we created this proving ground, and we were just asked to give it up so that Have a Heart could be placed there.
Yes.
And make
hold on. Mike LeBera is joining me right now. He's a cool brother. Lives on the peninsula, if I remember correctly. But we get along on a lot of things, and he's kind of a libertarian, which I kind of am too, but a libertarian who understands that civil rights still exist or need to exist, and not always saying, we're going to talk about deflection for a minute. You know, a lot of libertarians, they try to deflect, and it's like, yeah, but, the yeah, but is it's an animal, looks like a rabbit, but it's called a yabbit. You know, when you talk about racism, they'd be like, yeah, but this, yeah, but that, you know. And he's like, no, there's racism and it needs to be addressed, you know? So that's kind of the thing. So the deflection that we talked about at the beginning of the show, trying to come after me or you guys and this and that, that's all bullshit. You know, when we may run over the 40 minutes again, but that's okay. I don't give a shit. We just sign right back on. So yeah, Mike, if we're going to go over the time, I'm too stingy to buy so I'm going to buy it this week. I promise. So that we don't have to keep signing off and signing. I promise I'm going to buy the membership this week. But anyway, so that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But yeah, this whole thing, the deflection. Let's get back to brass tacks. Sinjo, in your case, what's the brass tack?
Say that one more time. The brass tacks?
Yeah, we're gonna get back to brass tacks. Okay. In your case, for example, what was the brass tacks? What's the bottom line and how it was involved?
Hold on one second. How were you involved, or how was that involved? I caught everything except for that. Sorry, I have shit service in the valley right now.
I know. I'm just getting at what was the nugget of truth about your case and what I did for you?
Oh, you made it possible for me to get my case dismissed without prejudice. Like, had I not met you, I probably would have ended up biting a bullet and writing a freaking, like, I think it was like a 5-page essay on the negative effects of marijuana on people under the age of 21, which I don't agree with because of the medical scene. Like, you've got kids who have cancer, or kids who have seizures or stuff like that. And, you know, THC helps them. Like, marijuana helps.
That's right. My niece, who lived here for a while, she has a mild form of epilepsy, and that's right. And that they treat with that too. So anyway, and also not to mention social smoking is okay to some extent too. You know, like people are gonna anyway. But the bottom line is that, you know, I met with your lawyer a number of times, convinced him, and Zoom calls, the three of us. I think I have them recorded. So obviously he took me seriously, Paula. You know, and then same thing with Levi's case. Yeah, he's dismissed.
And I mean, Sam did, and I feel like I think we were involved with Sarah too, but Sam more so was on top of it and willing to look through it. And then he saw like what you were saying, you know, and then he was like, okay, like this guy's obviously not just full of shit, like he knows what he's talking about.
Hello. Yeah. Anyway, so I feel like I've been wandering for a little bit. Now let's try to get us back. Kevin, where were we? I think I had a little something more to show, but where were you at? And then I want to hear from Libby too. And Mike, if Mike has a comment, but let's go back to Kevin and Libby.
We were at the return receipt to the Cannabis board.
Yes. And so and the greed came in, right? So then after that, and now this is a thing too, that you guys, like sometimes with you and Libby, I know that being coming from a survivor space, I don't want to say victim space, survivor space, you suppress things, you forget about things, and the whole thing that you remembered about M. Scott Soderbergh and that email where he was involved. Tell us more about this, because after that point, something happened. Tell us about that.
Okay, so after the fallout, and after we were basically told that Nate Miles and Ollie Garrett and Chris and company didn't want to do business because there were too many chefs in the kitchen, too many hands in the pot. We decided, me and Ben decided that we were just gonna hire a lawyer, and that why weren't we gonna still fight for our licenses regardless, because we were owed that. So we called Mike Reed, and he put together a dream team. It was somebody else. It was not just Scott Soderbergh. It was Donna Hansen. She's known in the cannabis community. Her name is on one of those documents as well that are going to the Cannabis board.
Right.
And they all knew the story. Scott Soderbergh, when I told him what happened about Nate, he was like, man, I worked beside Nate Miles for 20 plus years. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry that it's Nate Miles, but I wouldn't put it past him. That's what he said. Scott Soderbergh.
Yeah. And that's why they backed off that threat to sue us. And as I showed to them, I'm like, hey guys, do you realize what you're doing there? Because this is going to expose a whole lot of shit for your queen. I mean, I've got this whole thing mapped out as a chessboard. You know, I'm the knight. The kings and queens are like you and Libby. You know, Sinjo is also kind of a knight, or maybe a bishop. She's in the game. You know, and they keep throwing pawns at us.
I'm the Joker.
Yes, he's the Joker. Bring in the Joker. Bring in some poker into the chess game. Sure. Libby, have you a comment before we sign up on the first 40 minutes? I know I haven't got to you yet. I'm sorry, honey. Because nobody helped Libby either. Okay, Sinjo, you can sign off on your mic and you're good. Libby, your turn. We got 4 minutes left, and then we'll come back for a wrap up. But the wrap up's going to be short because I want to go ride a motorcycle. Okay, go ahead.
What do you want me to say?
I don't tell. Look, I'm not like Major Press. I don't tell you what to say. You're going to say what you want to say.
I mean, all I can do is agree to with everything that has been said. I mean, we've all been done wrong in some form or fashion. There's no civil rights being exercised when it comes to us. it's like people are seeing a crime or harm being done and they're turning the other way, right? They're turning, they're allowing it. They're onlookers, and some of them they're not saying they agree with it, but they're agreeing with the wrongs, and it's messed up. It really, really is. We shouldn't be struggling financially. We shouldn't be struggling legally or mentally or emotionally. We shouldn't be struggling right now because of this situation. It's clear, like the whole world knows that Blacks have been discriminated against in the cannabis industry. Everyone knows that the Washington LCB has been discriminated against Blacks. That's why they have this task force. So it's not rocket science. It's not like, hey, we're just coming up with this. We're just pulling it out of our behinds. No, that's not what's happening. They know
and none of you guys could get lawyers. I mean, you guys tried so hard. I mean, well, Kevin did though. That's what kills me too, because I'm not gonna take any heat for this allegedly being my fault, any of this crap, because you guys tried for a long time. You had a couple of white girls trying to help you out. One was a lawyer. One was the lawyer. They're both lawyers, I think. And what were their names again? The one tried to help, and she said
they're both lawyers. And just for the record, only one tried to help. And
that's right. Only one tried to help. What are their names again? I forget.
Rachel Kurtz.
Right.
And then she reached out to Allison Holcomb.
Allison Holcomb.
I tried to reach out to her, and she works for the ACLU. I could not contact her. So, she was as a favor in trying to help my situation because she didn't agree with it, right? She felt like it was wrong. And actually she wasn't very worried. She thought that it was going to turn out in my favor. She thought it was just a bunch of BS. So she just wasn't too worried. She's shocked to this day. Probably I haven't heard from her, but that, only except for the fact that maybe racial, my skin color has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. So just folks coming in. So you don't know, Libby Haynes is the only Black person we know of who passed the lottery. And you got to keep in mind, when I saw her name at first, I thought she was a French white girl because her last name is Marshall. Her husband's a white, Yeah. And so, I mean, that might have been part of why she got through. They let that little, that little nigga through. Okay. We're all honorary. Sinja honorary nigga right there. John Novak, another honorary nigga. All right. I'm going to tell you. And we're all the field niggas, because the house niggas are in a different class. All right. They got rid of John Novak. 420 Leaks used to be well-known website and produced and published everywhere. People were sharing his links. They were like, nah, you're not our NOKD, not our kind, dear. We're have to set you out to pasture. And they silenced all the local media and all that, right? So we already have one person who's going to work with us on a podcast. I've got another person right behind them in case that falls through. All right. So one of them is a white woman. Another one is a Black man. It don't matter. We're doing our thing. And when this hits, it's going to radiate. So all these people out here, all the local press who've been hiding these stories, shame on you, because we're going to expose you like a boss. Yeah.
We forgot to say something about all these people, like Libby was saying, all these people that are just watching us burn. They jumped out the house and watching the house burn. Most of them took oaths to not do so. Most of them took oath, to not just stand by and watch it burn, let alone have a hand in, pouring the gasoline on. You took an oath to it.
Right, they're doing a let it burn. Anyway, all right, guys, you don't want to hear me sing. We got less than a minute. Come on back, sign out. Come on back right now.
Okay.